Hello and welcome to the recap of our 2023 hiking trip in the UK. We started off in the city of Edinburgh and our Airbnb was right at the base of Edinburgh Castle.
A lot of places to eat.
Beehive Inn, that was in the book.
Oh, check it out.
Their beer garden.
So this is the Grass Market area and the castle right up behind our Airbnb. So all this was kind of right outside our front door.
And that's pretty cool. Okay, let's back up to the main drag.
After a few days tooling around Edinburgh, it was time to head up to the Highlands and Glencoe and Loch Ness. The Highlands and Glencoe in particular were stunning. Talk about natural beauty. Holy mackerel, I wish we could have spent a couple days there just hiking around. But it was only a one-day visit. We spent the afternoon in the small town of Fort Augustus on the south shore of Loch Ness. Beautiful little town, but it was pretty touristy. After our day in the Scottish Highlands, it was time to head to northern England and to start our hiking trip in earnest. Our first stop was Hadrian's Wall and the old Roman town of Vinolanda. Vinolanda was an old Roman fort and outpost on Hadrian's Wall, built around 100 AD. Pretty cool. Our first day of real hiking was only about 1.5 miles on a rainy English day, all along the wall. The hike along the wall was easy and nice despite the wind and a little bit of rain. Still, the scenery was just beautiful. The site was pretty cool, and once again it was really cool to think about how many people lived here so long ago. After a day exploring Hadrian's Wall and a couple old Roman settlements, it was time to head to the east coast and the town of Bamburgh with Bamburgh Castle. We spent that next morning exploring the beach and the castle confines. After a day in Bamburgh, we made the day trip up to Lindisfarne, a 7th century settlement that was actually sacked by the Vikings a century later. Pretty cool island that we got a chance to walk around and check out for a full day. After a couple of days of relatively flat and short hikes in the east, it was time to travel about an hour and a half back towards the west and to hit the town of Wooler for our first taste of some mountains. The hike in this area was beautiful and had a nice little climb right in the middle.
Beautiful. Patches of heather. Just walk just in the heather.
From Wooler, we traveled the next morning to Anik for a day of castle touring before hitting the real hiking the next morning. The castle in Anik is about everything you think of when you think of medieval castle. In fact, Harry Potter and Downton Abbey use this place to shoot. But after spending a day exploring the castle, we were off again for a longer trip out to Buttermere and Northumberland for some hiking in the higher country. We used this 500-year-old refurbished farmhouse as our base for the next several days. It was really beautiful in the valley.
Get going.
The hike up to Haystacks Peak was just beautiful. I wish the pictures could do it justice, but you just have to see the vistas for yourself.
There we go. After I do a little panorama here. Beautiful. And up and up and up.
Seems like the higher we got, the steeper the climb got. It was pretty cool. After a quick lunch up on the summit, it was time to start heading down the other side. And just like that, it was the next day and time for another hike in the mountains, this time in Derwater. Beautiful area with even steeper mountains.
So close to the top.
The Kettbells Peak in Derwater was pretty windswept, and if you're like me, the way down looked a little bit scary. It was pretty steep.
Down to the lake and town.
From there it was off for another day of hiking, this time in Ira Force.
Beautiful morning for a hike in absolutely gorgeous country.
Check out those lake views. Well, that was the end of our time in the Lakes District. It was now time to press on to London for a couple of days. Our first stop was the Globe, where we saw Midsummer Night's Dream. And our last stop before heading home was Abba Voyage. I had to admit that was pretty cool.